Hopefully, this is the year when you will be able to safely view a little more of our lovely globe. Here are my top spots to visit in 2022. Some of the places on this list are presently closed or have very tight travel restrictions. However, as the year goes, more sites should be safe for visitors. Let's begin this film in the South Pacific with the lovely islands of French Polynesia. French Polynesia consists of nearly 100 islands. Bora Bora is now one of the most beautiful islands. Take a peek at this place. It doesn't even appear to be real. It blows my mind how the islands and coral reef protect the island and the crystal clear lagoon. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect. Now, if you got some money to blow, you can stay at one of the ocean bungalows that are built right above the ocean water now. The center of the island is a dormant volcano called Mount Otter Emmanuel and stands an impressive 727 meters tall now to get to Bora Bora or any other destination in French Polynesia. So if you can afford it, French Polynesia might be the place to go. Now, if you're like me, New Zealand has been on your travel bucket list for as long as you can remember. It's a land full of mountains like Switzerland, fjords like Norway, and landscapes and allure of the rings. Now New Zealand is made up of over 700 islands, but the two major ones are the North and the South Islands. If you're down for some adventure and crazy landscapes, I'd say the South Island is. Word's out it's home to the Southern Alps, where Mount Cook is located. It's the tallest mountain in New Zealand and spent over 12,218 feet high. Another breathtaking location is Milford Sound, which is known as the world's eighth wonder. The Milford Sound is a fjord that glaciers built out during the Ice Age. It's one of the wettest regions on the planet, and the entire area is filled with magnificent and magical waterfalls. Right now, visiting New Zealand is nearly hard unless you are a resident, but maybe travel to the country will become more accessible later this year, so we can explore this beautiful country. Now, after New Zealand, we're going to head up to Indonesia to visit Bali. Bali has been one of the most popular travel destinations the last few years with its relatively cheap prices and incredible tropical landscapes. It's easy to see why. The travel situation just got a little tricky out there. One of the most popular places to visit in Bali is Nusa Penida. It's an island right off the coast of Bali. It's famous for having white cliffs coupled with perfect beaches there. Remind me a lot of Zack into the series now. The rest of Bali is just 4 rice terraces, prime minster spots, and jumbo waterfalls. I mean, I just want to go there so freaking bad. Alright, after Bali, we're going to head over to the UAE to visit Dubai. Now I have to say that Dubai is one of the coolest places I've ever been with covered. Dubai has relaxed its entry requirements for most countries. Now, Dubai is basically what happens when a city has a blank slate and limitless budget to make some of the crazy buildings and structures in the world. It is now home to the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, which stands 22 feet tall. And I was present. I proceeded to the 124th floor. It's the highest point you can reach. As a tourist, I was able to capture an amazing time-lapse of Dubai's roughest motorway routes after heading down to the bottom to view the daily magnificent Dubai Found shows. I mean, just such a cool experience being there. Do you want to experience the beach and Persian Gulf? I recommend to Araya Public Beach. It has an awesome view of the Burj Al Arab, which is considered to be one of the only 7-star hotels in the world. Another cool activity I did was I went on a desert safari. We were on the middle of nowhere and gardened some cars and rode in the dunes to our spot Knuckles. Little sketch. I had a good time watching the sunset and experiencing the crazy desert of the UAE after we're in a head over to Brazil to visit Rio de Janeiro. 72 hours before boarding your plane, I was lucky enough to visit Rio de Janeiro last February. I have to say, it's one of the most wild and vibrant cities I've ever visited. It's home to beautiful beaches, massive granite mountains, and an energetic culture. One of the most famous places in Rio is the iconic Christ the Redeemer. It's this massive statue that is over 125 feet tall. When I was there, I was able to get some unique 360 shots. There are also some amazing beaches. Want to? Rio's most famous is Ipanema Beach before visiting Rio. This is what I imagine Brazil to be like. Another one of my favorite places in Rio is this lookout called Mirante done on Marta. It's an absolutely beautiful lookout there. Has one of the best views of the city. I went there for sunrise and got one of the most incredible views over the famous Sugarloaf Mountain. Now, after Brazil, we're going to head over to the other side of South America to visit Peru. Now, when it comes to Peru's landscapes, they're some of the most diverse in the world. I mean, it ranges from some of the world's biggest sand dunes to the rainforests of the Amazon. Now, one region I particularly want to explore is the Peruvian Andes. To get to the end is the city of Cusco, the great starting point. It's one of the world's highest cities with an elevation of 11,200 feet and was the capital of the Incan Empire from the 13th century until the Spanish conquest. During the 1500s, there's a ton of Incan archaeological sites nearby, the most famous being the Incan citadel of Machu Picchu. It's one of the world's greatest archaeological marvels, and it's shrouded in mystery. It is thought to have been erected around 1450, but it was abandoned in 1572 and remained buried until it was unearthed in the 19th century. The Vina Acuna Rainbow Mountain is another breathtaking location in the Andes. It has a wild 17,100-foot elevation and is globally famous for its distinctively covered peak. I mean, Peru was just such a beautiful country. One of my favorite stops was this place called Maya Beach. It had these massive rocks, and we had the beach all to ourselves. Another scenic spot, as is Samuel H. Boardman's Scenic Quarter. It's one of the most beautiful spots on the Oregon coast, in my opinion. Now, if you get a chance, definitely recommend road trip with Oregon this year, after we're going to head over to the country of Turkey. Now, one of the most popular destinations in Turkey is the city of Istanbul. Istanbul is one of the most fascinating places. It's a transcontinental city, which means that Istanbul is part of both Europe and Asia. The Bosphorus Strait, which is considered to be the boundary between Europe and Asia, runs right through the capital. Istanbul is the most populated city of all Europe, with a population of over 15 million. The history of Istanbul is endless. It was established as early as the 7th century BC. In the year 330, it became the capital of the Roman Empire. And one of my favorite aspects of the city is the Glitter Tower. It's a distinctively formed medieval structure that dominates the skyline. Cappadocia is located on the other side of Turkey. It's famous for its hot air balloon-filled morning skylines. Capitol Kids is now home to one-of-a-kind rock constructions that dot the landscape in such a wild environment.